What's going on, Washington fans? Welcome to Victory Monday here on the JTFB channel. Guys, this is the best feeling I've had in a long time. I gotta admit, this has been the best. 2025 is already off to a crazy start, y'all. We have the first playoff Victory Monday that I've been able to celebrate as a content creator, as someone that covers the team. It's been a long time. I was in 5th grade the last time we won a playoff game. It's been a long time. It has been a very long time. And I just want to say, let's go Caps. We took over that stadium last night. I just want to say shout out to all the fans that traveled to Tampa. When I was there week 1, we traveled well. We took Tampa over week 1, but it looked like last night was even crazier. I'd say like 30% more than what it was week 1, which was nuts. We took over that stadium last night, and you felt it. You saw it beginning of the game, during the game, you heard it, and then at the end of the game, even the MVP chants for Jay Daniels at the end. I was watching that on TV. You could hear it very loudly. It sounded like Baltimore chanting at Lamar on a Saturday night. That's what it sounded like. It was so loud in that stadium. Shout out to our fans, man. This fan base is alive and well and for good reason. Shout out to my boy Chef Dre, holding it down over there in Arizona. Appreciate you stopping by, my guy. Abel, what's going on? Good to see you back here in the chat. On to the next one. Yes, sir. Feels so good. Justin, let's fucking go. Go Commanders. So happy I was there. I'm so jealous for anyone that went to that game. I was so close. But I've dropped way too much money the last month and a half traveling, and then I got to go to Alabama in 2 weeks for the Senior Bowl. So I was like, guys, I got to call timeout. I know it's history. Hey, if we beat Detroit, though, when we beat Detroit, I might have to revisit. Those tickets in Detroit are looking a little crazy right now. I don't know what they're smoking. It was like $850 to be sitting up there with Jesus. I'm good on that. I'm good on that one. I'd be sitting next to my grandma up there for $850. I'm good on that. That's just the ticket. That's not even travel. That's not even hotel, plane like for a one night thing. It was looking like almost $2,000 for that one trip. I'm good on that, y'all. Unless y'all want to donate something to me, that's fine. Then I'll go. But when we beat the Lions, I'm not sure where we'd go next. Depends what happens, obviously. But when we go to the Super Bowl, I will be there. I will sell a kidney. I will donate plasma. I will do whatever it takes. I will be at the Super Bowl. I promise y'all. The first time we get to the Super Bowl, I will be there. I know my boy Rio is going to be there. We will be doing some Kai Cenat live, walking on the street kind of stream, like in real life stream, whatever the heck they call it. I'm not hip with it. But we'll be there. We will absolutely be there. Chef, man, they hit me with the copyright on that song, man. I loved it too. But I tried to upload a video one time with that old intro, and I got hit with the copyright strike. Can't do that, man. Can't have them shutting it down. We got to keep this thing rolling. I just had to pick another one. Maybe in the offseason I'll revisit it. Maybe I'll do a whole new intro. Who knows? I have some other things cooking up. Might have some news in like February. We'll see. Might have to change a few things. We're not there yet, though. We're gonna keep this thing going for as long as we can and keep winning games. Let's do this the right way. Hail to the Commanders. Love it. Hearing MVP chants for JD in Tampa was amazing. It was insane. I'm telling y'all, it was so loud in that stadium. And it's not like it's in some dome where it's going to echo. That is a very open stadium. You can ask the sunburn I had week 1. It's a very laid out stadium. It's not like there's no echoes. That was volume. That was the amount of fans that we had there at the game. I love seeing the video, just even the tailgating things. Like seeing our fans take over the tailgates. We were booing Tampa Bay Buck fans as they were pulling into their own stadium. Yo, that's crazy. I saw people uploading videos of us booing Tampa Bay fans as they pulled up to their own stadium. That's next level. And then like even in the the Terry chants. And like the little concourse, whatever you want to call it, after the game, the Terry chants were going on for a while. Guys, we were up late last night. For someone that wasn't at the game, I jumped on Rio's channel There was a bunch of us content people hopped on his channel. I think me and Rio were the last ones to get off. I know it's about like 2:30 my time. Almost, it was past 3. It was 3 something for the East Coast. But man. And I was like, look, why stop there? Why not go live Monday night, right before this last game? We got Rams Vikings. It's going to be a good one tonight. Why not go live and just enjoy this one some more? We need to enjoy this one until Saturday at kickoff. Like, we're going to talk about Lions. Me and Rio are going to go live probably Thursday, same exact time we always do. Go live, 4 o'clock Eastern time, preview that Lions matchup, which anything can happen with 5. But I'm just saying there is a path to beat the Lions. It's not impossible. This isn't some David and Goliath. This is a real heavyweight fight because we have Jaden Daniels. I know the Lions are the 1 seed. It's a great matchup. Dan Campbell's going to Dan Campbell. They've got dudes. They got Jahmyr Gibbs. Yes, he worries me. But I'm just saying there is a path to beat the Lions. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit here on this stream as well. But shout out to Terry, man. It seems like all the big moments where we need something to happen, Terry's there. The long pass in the beginning of the game, and then also obviously that touchdown in the end zone there. Just him in traffic, jumping up, catching it. Just the typical Terry touchdown. That's how he scores. Josh, question, if you had to describe the season in one word, what would it be? One word, I would say like revival. This whole season has been a revival. Not even just the team, but the fan base. I mean, guys, I talked to Rio about this a little bit last night. As a fan and as someone that has been, doing content for years now. I mean, I want to say I started my first podcast like 2018. But there's every off season and every season, how many times, maybe it's not just me. Hopefully it's not just me. How many times were we stuck here saying, how long are we going to be bad? What needs to happen for this to change? And we knew like selling the team was the big thing. That was the obvious thing. But after that, it's like, what is going to happen? What's that switch that happens? Like, do we just have to get lucky? When are we going to be a good team? When are we going to be a stable team that can actually do something? And, I feel bad for those teams that are sucking right now. Like, look at like the Titans. I don't care about like the Giants and Cowboys because they're in our division, but like there's some other like fan bases out there, good fan bases, but no one went through what we had to go through with, the Dan Snyder having to sell a team, the name change, everything. But I'm telling y'all guys, it was a daily thing. Like, it was depressing. I was rooting for losses for a long time because I was like, guys, if we just keep getting stuck in the middle of the first round, if we just keep acting mediocre, blah, 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 like we are never, ever, ever going to change. When is it going to be our time? When are we going to get back to greatness? Like I said, maybe it was just me, but gosh, I mean, just Rio was like the same thing, man. Like every offseason, we're just depressed, talking about things that are going to change, talking about players didn't want to come here, talking about like the draft picks sucked. Like we knew that we had the wrong guys. We knew we had the wrong coaches. We knew we had the wrong front office. We just knew that everything was wrong. And we're like, how long is it going to take for this to change? And it took 1 season. So honestly, in one word, I'm saying revival. If I could do 2, I would say a culture reset. I just shout out to Adam Peters and shout out to Dan Quinn. I got the chance to meet Adam Peters very briefly at the Senior Bowl, like days after we hired him. Matter of fact, it might have been like the next day. It wasn't that long. I can't remember. But I just remember him showing up to the Senior Bowl, and he was like sitting down there on the field, and Logan and Zach and them were like interviewing him, and like he was just chilling on this like bench over there off to the side. And then I remember we got Dan Quinn, and Jeremy Fowler was actually there. I think he's ESPN. Let's say he's ESPN. And I talked to him real quick, and he's the one that he gave me some intel before we hired Dan Quinn, like 2 days before. He's like, it looks like it's going to be Dan Quinn. I was like, really? And he said, like, that's their guy. Like Adam Peters wanted Dan Quinn for a reason. Josh Harris wanted Dan Quinn. Like everyone was on the same page. And it just seemed like everything has worked out. And shout out to Magic Johnson and Josh. They mentioned it yesterday, or last night after the game, almost this morning. It was so late. But he said, like, it was our job to come in here, hire the right people, and then step back and let them do their thing. That's exactly what Josh did. It's exactly what Magic did. All of the owners, all the new people that came in here, they took care of business. They brought in Bob Myers. They made all the right decisions and really just got things going the right way. And the fact that it happened in one season is insane. It is insane. It took teams like the Lions, even with Dan Campbell, took them, 2 or 3 years after hiring him to get things going. But when you have the right quarterback and you have the right coach, you have the right people around you, you have the right support in the front office, things happen fast. And we did it. We're not rooting for losses anymore. We're not doing mock drafts in the middle of, November. We're not that fan base anymore. We are a revived fan base. Josh, what's good, dude? I know you'll get into it, but honestly, what is your take on Washington's key to victory? Mine is to get a lead early and just keep it coming. Points on every drive, 3 or 7. Big E, appreciate the chat. Man, honestly, I agree. I think with the Lions, we have to do a lot of what we did with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They only had, I want to say it was 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 7 drives the entire game. They only had 3 drives the second half. That is insane. Baker Mayfield only had 18 passing attempts. And it felt like he had 30 just to Mike Evans alone because they're so elevated. That was such a highlighted, matchup all night long. But Baker Mayfield only had 18 passes. If you're telling me we can go to Detroit and limit Goff to only 18 passes, I'll even give you 20. Say he goes 16 for 20. I feel really good about that game. If we can keep the offense on the field, and now, it's a big struggle, and it's been a struggle for weeks, but it seems like how long can this keep up? The running game. I think I saw a stat earlier that said we haven't had a running back be the leading rusher of our team since like December 1st, which is nuts. Beginning in December. It might not have been the first, but the very beginning of December. That's crazy. You have to get a run game going if you're going to beat the Lions. Like I said, they have Jahmyr Gibbs. Montgomery looks like he's going to be back. They're going to have their full run game. And our run defense is bad. We held Bucky to 77. Still had 4.5 yards per carry last night. That's still a little too high for me. But you got to keep their offense off the field. I think their defense has enough injuries to it where I'm not really worried about their pass rush as much. Their secondary is great. That's the best safety duo in the league. You got my guy Branch back there. Y'all know I love Branch, Roll Tide. And then Kirby Joseph is a ball hawk. They have really good safeties. That's going to be a tough matchup. I don't know if my guy Terrion Arnold is going to be healthy, if he's going to be able to play. He got injured, in that last game against the Vikings. Not sure what that looks like, but there might be some matchups on the corners that you really like, but you have to watch for those safeties. Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch can get an interception in a split second and change the game. The thing is that too many teams try to track race the Lions because you have these 4th down attempts. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have that run game. You got Laporta. You have that amazing offensive line they had, so you're not getting as much pressure on Goff as you would really like to. Teams try too much to have a track race against the Lions, and it ends up biting them in the ass. They get desperate. They throw these interceptions. They make mistakes. Anzalone, they got studs. The Lions are a really good team. That is a damn good team. Best team we faced all season. They're better than the Eagles, in my opinion, even with their injuries. But they're still beatable. Brent, good to see you too. Welcome. Detroit Lions YouTube channel is already talking reckless, and they should. They're the 1 seed. They've been the number 1 team all season long. I think they're better than the Chiefs, even with their injuries. I think they're better than the Chiefs. I think so. They need to talk that talk. They just like us. They were down bad. Imagine if we were the 1 seed and we were what? Were they 15-2? I'd be talking so much shit. I don't care if we were, playing like an all Madden team and Tom Brady was out there. I'd still be talking. The Lions should be talking. They were down bad for a long time. Remember when they had a winless season? Gosh. Definition of come into your trap and take over your trap. Yep. It was bad. And Tampa fans, they show up. It's not like it's the Falcons or, somewhere out in like LA where they don't show up to football games. Like Chargers fans, not too bad, but Rams don't really show up to their games. But like the Falcons might have like the worst home like fans ever. Like they don't show up. Tampa Bay fans, they show up. But we just took over that much. Damn victory Monday when I saw Mariota under center and Jaden in motion, I went crazy. I'm just saying Cliff waited for the playoffs to pull that out. What if we didn't make the playoffs? Like how long was Cliff going to hang that, in his pocket? We saw with Jaden, he went in motion like twice on one play. And then the I formation where Mariota's under center. I forgot who was that fullback. Someone might correct me. I can't remember who it was. But then like Jaden's in the backfield, like literally looking like, Ashton Genty back there, just ready to take off. And I quoted that tweet that I saw and said, when we say Jaden is the running game, this is what we mean. He is the running game. Jaden is the leading rusher every single game. And it's just so funny that we have a picture of him in I formation, old formation that teams don't even use anymore. And he's the tailback back there. Shout out to Jaden. Lions have too many injuries on defense. I like our chances. I think they're beatable. Drew said, Renaissance, talk about one word to describe. We need to put JTFB in the slot. You don't want me in the slot. Nah, if anything, you'll put me like H-back. I'm right under 6 foot, 220 now. Maybe in the summer, I was like 245. Maybe you could put me at fullback, but I'm going to be like an inline tight end now. I'm not the tallest. I don't have the longest arms. I don't have hands. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I can help. I don't think I can help. We definitely are going to make some changes in this offseason, but we're not worried about that yet. A recalibration. That's what Dan Quinn said, a recalibration. I liked it. What's going on, Anthony? Welcome. You see Malik Neighbors at the game cheering on JD, future commander, hopefully. I'm just saying, shout out to Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. I love both those guys. Amazing wide receivers. Wide receivers are honestly my favorite, like, position to scout. Like every time like I get to scout a wide receiver, I'm like, yes, thank you. I feel like it's the one I understand the most. And just watching those two, I was like, man, I knew there really wasn't going to be a way to trade back up and get Brian Thomas Jr., but could you imagine if we did? Brian Thomas Jr. and Terry McLaurin with Jaden Daniels throwing the ball. Guys, Malik Neighbors, man, request that trade. Get out of there, my guy. Lions fans don't think we can take over their stadium. I'm just saying with the prices, I see a lot of fans saying I'm out on that because the prices are crazy. And respectfully, I'm cool with it. Like even if we don't take it over, whatever. I'm just glad we have a game up north, but it's indoor. We have an indoor game. Let's see. Jaden won the game against Arizona. Won the game against Atlanta. I think that's the only two indoor stadiums we've had to play at this season. Oh, the Saints. And the Saints. Yeah, Arizona, week 4. And then we went to the Saints. Oh, yeah, we played the Falcons at home. That's what it was. Saints and Cardinals were the two indoor stadiums that we played in, and the Cowboys too. At Jerry's World with his falling ceiling. So we were 3-0 in outdoor stadiums. At the Cowboys, at the Saints, and at the Cardinals. I don't think I'm missing any others. Doesn't look like it. So 3-0 in indoor stadiums this year. I'll take it. What's the line on this Lions game? It started out at 5.5 Lions. Now it's up to 8.5 Lions. That's fine. They have it at 55.5 total points. That's a lot. That's got to be the most out of any game this coming up weekend. Obviously, we don't know yet until the game tonight. But 55.5 points, that's a lot for a divisional round game. They think there's going to be some fireworks on there, and I agree with them. I think it's going to be an offensive shootout. What's up, fam? I think we roll up to Detroit and put belt to ass. I would love that. I'm just saying, guys, do not let Jaden Daniels go to Detroit and knock off the 1 seed in his rookie season. If y'all thought we're talking now, if you think the media is high on him now, We've got guys like Peyton Manning coming out saying like he's got the it factor, like he's the one. We've got guys saying like he's not a rookie. There's no way he's a rookie. He is a vet. Imagine how it's going to be when Jaden Daniels rolls up to Detroit and beats the Lions and knocks off that 1 seed. Guys, it's gonna be madness. It is gonna be madness. You think Twitter's crazy now? Wait till that happens. Do you think Deion can give Dallas the type of turnaround that Dan gave us? I think so, but I don't think he wants to go there. I really don't think Shedeur going there is an option. But I just don't see Deion going. He should stay at Colorado. He's building something really good. College fits what he wants to do. You know, being able to recruit guys, being able to get this transfer portal guys in after a little while. Prime's got to stay in college. Like, it's exactly what he wants. Biggie, yo, love the busted hat. Appreciate it. What would be your take on if Cliff were to leave? If we end up signing Gruden, DQ, and John Gruden calling the offense, that would be the GOAT head coach and OC do-over. I love Coach Gruden. Shout out to him. I'm going to get him on the channel soon. And in the offseason, definitely going to get him on here. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but I think there's a 10% chance Cliff leaves. I don't see him leaving. He's been linked to the Saints and the Bears. And I quoted Justina Anderson's tweet the other day, and she actually like randomly DM'd me, which is kind of strange. But she said 4 teams have expressed interest. I did not specify where, and he's only been contacted by those 2, the Saints and the Bears. She didn't tell me what the other 2 were. Didn't really ask. She probably wouldn't tell me anyways. I just said thanks for the insight. But I wonder what the other 2 teams are. I'm sure Dallas would want to try to get him just to, hurt us. And then obviously like their offense just bad. Like they have no run game. Dak's got to get back to Dak. Like I just don't see him leaving to the Saints. I don't see him going to the Bears. I don't see that. To me, it makes no sense. He's getting paid as a head coach till 2027. He might as well just stay here. And I don't know if you all caught this, but last night after the game, DQ gave him a hug and he's like, stay here, kid. Or he said something along those lines, like stay with us, kid, or something like that. Stay here, kid, whatever. But DQ loves him some Cliff. And Cliff was cooking last night. He was in there like it was hibachi. No one wanted to stay either, like Preston Smith, Brandon Sheriff, et cetera, talking about like free agents and stuff like that. No one wanted to come here. No one wanted to stay here at all. Bro, I remember us getting some crazy free agents. We had to overhype them. But now we have Adam Schefter dropping nuggets in the middle of the season saying players have already told their agents they want to be traded here before the trade deadline. Already. That was before we even made the playoffs. Holy smokes. Why not us? Like they said, exactly. Anyone, anytime, anywhere. Watch Commanders are not the same difference teams. The fact that we have made this much change in one season is crazy to me. The roster turnover that we had, the most at any team in the NFL. Don't think we'd be in this position with another coach. DQ is a leader of men. Same. And I will admit, I was kind of about the hiring at first, but everyone I talked to at the Senior Bowl when I was there, coach wise, scouts, and like I said, Jeremy Fowler from ESPN was there. And he was just like, people love Dan Quinn. Players love Dan Quinn. He is the kind of guy that could lead a turnaround quickly. So they sold me on it. Funny too how people making excuses saying we have weapons now in Ertz, Eckler, OZ, and such. I'm like, these guys were written off before the season. Even the O-line talked before the season. Johnson, it's crazy because Caleb was drafted into the best situation any rookie quarterback has ever been drafted into. Ever. They did everything possible to build around this man with Moore, drafted Rome. They went and got Keenan Allen. They did make some moves on the offensive line. Defensively, they made moves. They paid Jalen Johnson. They did everything possible. There has not been a single rookie quarterback that was drafted into a better position than Caleb. You can talk about his coach. Earflus sucked. I'm cool to talk about that. But everyone was always like, what is Washington doing? What is Washington doing? They signed Zach Ertz Like before free agency even started, really? That was like a random Tuesday thing. I remember making a graphic for that when I was at work, when I was still working at Audi, before I started doing this full-time content. I remember doing a graphic and I was like, hey, Ertz knows Cliff's offense. Like, we'll see what happens. Everyone's just like, whatever. He might be tight end one. He probably not, though. It's Zach Ertz in the year 2025. And then Eckler, same thing. Everyone's like, but Eckler just wasn't himself last year. But then, like, when I talked to him on my show before the season kicked off, talking to him about, hey man, what happened? He's like, it just didn't fit. All the new changes, all the new things happening. That was not my style. So I wasn't ready to write off, Eckler. And shout out to Eckler, made some big plays last night. That last drive, the catch over Yaya Diaby, and then he had like a 12-yard gain that really just blew things open right there at the end. And then, Jaden doing what he did on third down to pick up that first down and really milk out the rest of the game. Some of these vets, I know he's been hurt, but he's had some big plays. That big run against the Bengals, that touchdown. There's been some big plays by these guys. Zach Ertz, touchdown after touchdown. The Falcons won alone, clinching the playoffs. A crazy catch. Everyone was dogging us before the season. You get on Twitter and you see all these hot takes like, going from, Ron Rivera, Eric Bieniemy, and Sam Howell to Cliff Kingsbury, who can't coach in the second half of the season, Jay Daniels, it's the same thing. Well, it's not even close. Making these people look foolish. Can't wait to see who wants to come here after that W. Fam, hey, people are going to be lined up to come to Washington. It is insane. What's going on, Queen Sheen? Appreciate you stopping by here. Like she said, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hey, we are right. I'm telling y'all, 2025 is going to be the biggest season, not only for this team, but for me, for this channel, for all the content I'm going to push out, y'all. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Get more Washington fans up in here because it's going to be crazy. What's going on, my guy? Radar. Terrible O-line coach from the Giants. Shout out to Bobby Johnson. We had the worst O-line last year and added a center and backup left guard from KC. JD5 makes all these guys look better than where we are at. And I like Biadasz. We saw how bad we look without Biadasz in there. But once again, I was not excited about hiring Bobby Johnson. But shout out to Coach. He got those boys right. Got the boys right. It was the first, I believe. I think you're right, too. Got to create turnovers on Saturday. Yep. Saturday night. God, another late game. I'm with it, though. I'm not complaining. We're playing. Also need the run game to improve. Got you. Washington Commanders, not the same. Different team. Yep. We're different now. People respect us. Envy the Lions, safety Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. I wanted Brian Branch so bad, man. Can you imagine? We do things different around here. Anthony Wright. Going to be Illinois reunion. Hey, shout out to Illinois. They push some dudes out. I want Pat Bryant, the wide receiver. Do we start B-Rob against the Lions? That's a great question because I don't know. I love B-Rob. Like I said, he's one of my Bama boys, but man, the legs just aren't the same. His bread and butter is yards after contact, fighting, going north and south. He's not an east-west guy at all. He's an inside zone runner. And when you don't have the juice in your legs anymore, he had 3 different leg injuries this year? It was like knee, calf, hamstring, like ankle, something is bad. I don't know if it's the same leg or not. But when you start to lose that juice in your legs, you got nothing left. And I hate to say it, but it just seemed like all these inside zone runs with him. I'm like, God, man, it's the same thing as getting hit at or behind the line of scrimmage on all of them. He had like a 1.5 yard average? Yeah, 10 carries for 16 yards, 1.6 yard average per carry. That's not going to get the job done. That is not going to get the job done. Against the Lions, where they are susceptible to the run, especially running quarterbacks, they're not good against running quarterbacks, which is scary. If they see Jaden Daniels coming. I want to see, and I wanted to see this more last night. I want to see some Austin Eckler outside zone, tosses, counters, anything to the C&D gaps. I want to see anything to those C&D gaps with him. I did really like a lot of these option plays. We're going to be running heavy option against the Lions. Whatever Jaden Daniels' rushing prop is, bet the over. It's going to be crazy. Mr. Make Away. Why not us, Josh? Let's fucking go. We can shock the world. Hey, like your name said, make a way. It's 85. Going to find a way. Why I think the Lions are better? I just think they're the better team. They've had time to build this roster. They're very well coached. I think on paper, roster wise, they're better than us. The Bucs were too. There's a lot of teams that we have faced and beat that were better than us on paper, and that's okay. You don't win the game on paper; you win the game on the field. We know we got a Terry McLaurin, a bunch of random dudes catching the ball at wide receiver. De'Ami Brown, Lamar, love him to death. But if you want to put it up against Mike Evans, they didn't have Godwin last night, obviously, but McMillan, K-Dot and I tight end. I mean, Bucky Urban at running back with the Bucs. I mean, the Eagles, like the weapons they have on paper, Washington still doesn't have a good roster. It's still a flawed team, but all of that's overlooked when you have Jaden Daniels throwing the ball. Jaden Daniels he helps De'Ami Brown do what he did last night. He helped Alaman Zaccheaus have these big games. The Eagles game where Crowder popped off. Elevating Ertz to get back to his old ways. It helps. Terry having his career best season here. When people were ready to write off Terry because we had Sam Howell throwing deep hospital balls to him. That is the Jaden Daniels effect. He elevates your team. And I just remember, and I talked about this last night too. Remember how it was always debate like, oh, you got to keep drafting a quarterback till you get one, but let's build a team first. People had this debate. Oh, get an O-line, get a wide receiver, get the rest of the team first, and then we can like settle with some random quarterback. When you find your quarterback and he is Jaden Daniels, which is super rare. It is 1 in 100. Where you find a Pat Mahomes, or you find a Lamar Jackson, or you find a Jaden Daniels. The rest of the team is elevated. Every year we roll out the Chiefs and say, oh, well, they're wide receivers. They have question marks here. I don't know about, Travis Kelce's lost a step. Running backs hurt. It doesn't matter. If they still have Patrick Mahomes, anything's possible. We are now in that boat with Jaden Daniels. It doesn't matter who's catching the ball. De'Ami Brown, wide receiver 2. Noah Brown went out. Alaman Zaccheaus, it doesn't matter who's catching the ball. If Jaden Daniels is throwing it, you have a chance. You have a good chance. And we got Terry too. I'll put Terry up there with Jaden. If you got Terry on the field, anything's possible. Well, Washington want the game more, might be the dictator of the game. I guarantee you, they want it. They're playing with house money. No one thought we would be here year one of a recalibrate. We're not gonna say rebuild. The Lions are expected to be here. They are expected to be here. This is where exactly they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be the 1 seed, have that home field advantage. No one expects us to be here. I promise you, every player in that locker room wants it more. Now, I know the Lions have that bitter taste in their mouth because of last year, what happened. They had that 49ers game. They had it. But they are also dinged up. They brought guys in that weren't there last year. They brought guys in that maybe aren't part of that culture yet. There's holes on that team. Let's fucking go. Honda Hero, welcome. Tampa Bay fans showed up, but it was a good 30% of people there. Yeah, like I said, Washington fans took that thing over. It's probably more than 30. It was probably like 45, maybe 50. It was a lot. Hard to tell with similar colors we were. That's another thing too. Like between the white and like the burgundy, it was a lot of mix. It was a lot of burgundy in there though. I think to me, Chiefs is the best team in the NFL. Hey, don't disagree. I still think Lions are 1, but I think Chiefs are right there with them. Secret Spiritual War. What in the world? I have no idea what you're talking about, my guy. Jahan, Curtis, and Terry all scored yesterday in the year 2025. I know nobody had that parlay of touchdowns of Jahan, Curtis, and Terry. And shout out to all of them. I loved Han, loved Curtis, and shout out to Terry being Terry. Thoughts on Jack Beck, wide receiver at TCU? Haven't had a chance to watch him a lot, but I know a lot of people are super high on him. I think he's coming to the Senior Bowl. I can't remember. But I just know I watched a couple of games of his this year, and I was impressed. But I definitely gotta watch it, and actually scout him, and not just I watch the games. But from what I could tell, people are super high on him right now. Him and Savion both out of TCU. Got two good wide receivers. That'll be good to see. What's going on, Random? Appreciate you coming back. Outside of the first, what wide receiver maybe interested in? See, the thing about me is I don't like this wide receiver draft class. I think there's a couple guys that could do something, but honestly, I'm just not too hyped about this wide receiver draft class. I'm all in on T. Higgins. Like, I'm all in. I'm all in on Garrett Wilson if that's an option. I'm not knocking the Cooper Kupp thing. I know some of y'all might have seen me tweet that Bleacher Report put out an article today saying that Washington could trade a 3rd and a 7th for Cooper Kupp, like a hypothetical trade idea for this offseason. I'm not off of that. Like, if that's our plan for like the next year or two, cool. Because like I said, it's just this draft class is not good. First round, I think the only guys that have a chance of being good, obviously McMillan. No one's counting Travis Hunter as a wide receiver because he's being treated as a corner. And then Luther Burden, I think Igbuka is going to be good too. Alik Aomanor, I like him a lot too. I don't know what his ceiling is, but I love Trey Harris. Some people have him in like early 2nd. Some people have him early 3rd. I'm fine taking him in the 2nd though. If he can stay healthy, I like Trey Harris a lot. His Ole Miss tape was really good. Like I said, he just has some injuries. I think he had like a groin injury this year. I haven't dived all the way into draft prospects yet, though. I've been kind of waiting and holding off with this playoff run we got. But as soon as the season ends, which is hopefully after the Super Bowl, then I'm diving right into all this offseason stuff. Oh, you're talking about, he said he was talking to the dude behind Cliff, not Cliff. I wish he was, though, talking about after the game saying, stay here, kid. It's funny. I saw someone put it up. I can't remember who said it, but they said it was Cliff, so I just rolled with it. Can't wait to see who comes here after the season. I'm hype. Well, we got a job to finish. Mike Green out of Marshall. Shout out to Mike. He's a Virginia boy. Hey, I would love him. He's a beast. The dude's a stud. I think he'd probably be a top 3 edge rusher in this draft class. Jair wants out of Green Bay. He's also hurt a lot too, though. Need Al Harris and Micah to follow DQ and Witt to DC already. I would love both of them. People, once again, players love Al Harris. And I would like to think, I don't know, maybe he would want to be a DC, but if we can get him as a secondary coach, just pretty much bring over what the Cowboys had last year with him, Witt, and Al Harris, that'd be sick. That'd be sick. And I love Micah, so I would love to get Micah here. Radar said I'm getting a tattoo of my glorious King Jaden if we beat Detroit. Bro, if we beat Detroit and go to the NFC Championship game, I'll get a tattoo. It might not be Jaden Daniels. It might just be a Washington tattoo, but I'll get a tattoo. Red Wings. I'm surprised no one's brought this up yet. Marshawn clearly isn't 100%, and he won't be until full offseason rest. I fully agree with you. I think someone said this last night on our stream. He's just had to go through these weeks of like, we traded for him weeks. He's healing, and he's out there against the Saints. Didn't really, get targeted, and then bam, he's out there against the Eagles, and he has AJ Brown. Gets re-injured. He goes weeks resting, just rest, and then bam, he's got Mike Evans. And Keim said it, or someone asked Keim or something. I don't know. I just saw someone said they asked Keim about it, and he said that he doesn't think he's 100%. But obviously, Mike Evans, the playoffs, he's gonna play. I guarantee you, there's a lot of players that weren't 100% last night. I mean, Brandon Coleman had a giant brace on his right knee, which isn't ideal for a tackle, and he had a really bad game. I think that clearly, had some influence on his performance. But there was guys out there not 100% that were playing. And I'm interested. I'm not worried about Marshawn, honestly. Like, was it, unfortunate to see? But you could just tell by, like, his footwork. You could tell, like, and the Bucs did a really good job, too. Like, go back and watch those plays. They're in, like, trips. They're in, like, a 3-by-1 set. Like, they're in trips. Or they have, like, switch routes. And he's, like, outside corner. So he can't be manned up on Mike Evans. He can't. It's just, and like, it's not possible. So Mike Evans is, like, over here. He's, like, up front. There's, like, another guy out behind him. But he's, like, Marshawn's up here. And they do a switch route. It's, like, bam. And then he has to come across. And it's, like, these slants. And, like, it was just really good game plan. Liam Cohen, I think his name Liam, offensive coordinator for the Bucs. Like, people are saying he's going to get head coaching opportunities. I think he had a really good game plan. I think the Bucs had a lot of missed opportunities. The fumble, also the bad snap count that they had. But I think they just did a really good job with Mike Evans of it was just they put Marshawn in a position where it's really hard to guard, especially not at 100%. But just go back and watch those routes. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're lined up face to face and I'm gonna run like a 9 route and blah blah blah. I think there's like 1 or 2 routes where it's like, okay, I really wish you would defend that better. But other times it was like I said, they were in like trips. There's a lot of traffic and they were doing switch routes and stuff like that. And also you have to like watch, was it man? Was it zone? What kind of coverage was Washington in? You can't just like watch a play and like, oh, he caught it. Who was on him? Oh my God, Marshawn. What the hell is Marshawn doing? Was it a good game? No. I'll sit here and say that it was definitely not a good game. But I could just tell by his stance, his footwork, how he was just like giving up the leverage to Mike Evans, like in the release. Sometimes you can just tell like he wasn't able to like do what he does of like just taking off, getting that first step, that twitch just wasn't there. I think that ruined the rest of the route for Marshawn covering. So Biotis not 100%. Also, we need him, but yeah, we definitely need him. But I think everybody's gonna be good for next week. That's more a reason why Dan Quinn should be coach of the year and AP should be executive of the year. Absolutely. People are saying Kevin O'Connell. Like, I get it. You won 14 games after JJ tore his ACL or whatever it was. And then you got Sam Darnold having a crazy year. Like, I get it. I'm not mad at it, but look at what we had to do. Dan Quinn should absolutely be coach of the year. B-Rob is a combination of Trent Richardson and Najee Harris. Hey, the Bama in me hurts after hearing that. Shout out Trent Richardson, man. One of my favorite plays in college against Ole Miss when he just sends a guy down into the ground. I mean, he touched earth. Beautiful. But yeah, Najee Harris. I love Najee. He's a free agent too. What do you think will be the top concern going to the offseason? Wide receiver. For me, it's not even close. Wide receiver. As soon as I'm like already coming up with like the topics I want to hit, one of the first videos I'm going to do after the season's top 5 needs, like in order. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Of like what I think needs. So stay tuned on that one, Billy. Lovie Smith definitely deserves credit for putting together that Illinois squad. I mean, yeah. Illinois is always putting out some DBs, and shout out to Johnny Newton, also Illinois. What makes anyone believe that the Commanders beat the Lions? Y'all getting 40 scored on you. We can, drop 40. We'll drop 42. That's all I'm saying. If you haven't watched Jayden Daniels yet, you need to. Lions may be better, but they fear 5. That tells me everything I need to know. Everyone in the NFL is going to fear 5. Everyone. Jayden will be on a silent count all game. Forward field is insane. Ain't nothing new. We've done it all season. We've had some tough road games. We've done it. Diami locked the fuck in for that extension. Hey, Diami had on his Sunday best yesterday. Diami put on his Sunday best, and he showed out. Imagine when we finally get all the pieces together, we got to take care of it. Oh, no, bring back Fowler, Chin, Bobby. Heck, I'd bring back Ertz and a couple of these other receivers. Yeah, we do have a lot of free agents. There's a lot of people that don't have contracts next year. That could be concerning to me. Waiting to see Forbes line up with Jettas tonight. I pray that's not what's going to happen. I hope not. Big E, Josh, I got to hear your take on our 3 first pick position-wise regarding the free agency. What route would you go? I'm just drafting the best available. If you're looking at, like, value in the draft, though, there's not, in my opinion, I don't see a wide receiver being good enough in the first round. If you want to talk about value in the first round, it's going to be I would say third would be tackle, second would be corner, and then number 1's going to be edge rusher. I think the edge rush talent in the first round would clear anything. It's a really good edge class. You can make the case running back too, if you want to go like Amarian Hampton out of North Carolina. But I think for me it'd be edge, corner, tackle. This is not the best tackle class either, but I think you can get somebody in that late first. Still waiting to see like guys that decide to come out or not. Like Cam out of Texas, the right tackle. He should go back to school. But it would probably be edge. And the thing is, like, we have good edge rushers. It's just we don't set the edge as our edges. On the runs, we don't set the edge at all. Like, I love Fowler and I love Armstrong. There's so many times I'm like, Why are we not setting the edge? Like, this is why our run defense sucks. That's why Saquon and Bijan and even Bucky Irving had a couple runs last night, like outside to the D gap. I'm like, what is going on? There is no edge there. Like, there is no edge presence. Why are we crashed inside? Like, what happened? So I think we're really good against the quarterback. We're good at getting pressures. We're good at getting sacks. But there's been so many times this season where our edge rushers do not set the edge. But still, nonetheless, we've had some really good pass rushers this season about in the passing reps. Trey Harris or Ty Felton in the 3rd, 4th round. I like Ty. I like Felton. Good story. Battling back from injuries, but I like Trey Harris a lot. In the 2nd round, he should still be there. It's just such a bad wide receiver draft. It wouldn't surprise me if people start reaching, which is like the one thing I'm really concerned about. DQ is going to pluck from Dallas this offseason. Good. Look, Mike already said so many times he loves Jaden Daniels. He loves Jaden Daniels. He talks better about Jaden than he does Dak. Like, he loves Jaden. But he said DQ was like an uncle to him. He's like, that's Uncle DQ. And even remember when they were talking about, like, oh, what if Dan Quinn leaves? And Mike was doing those interviews. He's like, man, he might even just take me with him. Now, of course, he was probably kidding. But, deep down inside, Michael loves Dan Quinn. That show that he did with Trevon Diggs, he said, man, he was like, that's Uncle DQ. I love that man. And he's like, he texted me after that Bengals game. We were talking, blah, blah, blah. Like, they still stay in contact. I promise y'all. If I had to bet money, if it's not this offseason, it'll be next offseason. Micah Parsons is going to be a Washington Commander. Lattimore looks really out of shape. Yep, he does. I mean, he had weeks without playing, so that's expected. A long time. Josh, I told my boys to get tats for all our teams. If you get one, let me know. I'm coming with getting one as well. Look, I've been wanting to get another tattoo. I told myself the next tattoo would be like a Sean Taylor piece on my leg. I've been wanting to get. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. Number 6, like I said, Sean Taylor on my leg. Like, I want to get a whole leg sleeve, but I want to do the Sean Taylor one first. That I can't do like a Washington Commanders one or somebody else before I do Sean Taylor. It's got to be Sean. That's my boy. The Bucks did run some good concepts. They did really well. Giambi chose the best possible time to break out, and he needs to do it again Saturday. I think Lattimore needed safety help. I think so too. But like, that's why you trade for Lattimore, is because you want him to win these one-on-one man matchups on the outside, and so you're able to rely on him. And someone said it earlier. I think same thing. It might have been Red Wings. I can't remember who said it. But he just needs he just needs a whole off season. He might have surgery. I don't know. But I mean, he had this hamstring like before the season even started, the hamstring injury. Like, I was going back and looking at like the Saints. Like, I remember like training camp and like preseason, I'm pretty sure he had like the same hamstring injury. Just checked according to Vegas, plus 140, OC plus 500, DQ plus 140. So weird that this isn't Josh doing a draft show. I know, man. At this time of year, I'm usually on like mock draft 10. Almost feels wrong, except Washington being alive is awesome. I'll take this every single season. Every season. I don't think they'll bring back Bates. He fumbles too much. Yeah, it's not even a thing of like he sucks. It's just like, can you improve? And we'll be saying that about a lot of people. Like I said with Fowler, I won't throw Dorrance in there, but I think like Quan Martin. Can you do better? Probably, but it's not like a glaring need. But if you can upgrade, can you? Sure. My question is, do they shake up the interior D-line? I know Dan Quinn is really high on John Allen. I don't know how he feels about Deron Payne. But I do know Deron Payne feels some type of way. Deron Payne feels some type of way. Probably not, I wouldn't say like the coach or anything like that, obviously, but he knows how much that our fans talk about him. He knows. I've seen it. I know Dan Quinn. I remember when John Allen was coming back, or like even when he got hurt, Dan Quinn spoke so highly of John Allen. And he should. I've always thought, and it's not even just because he went to Bama. It's not even because I went to go watch him in high school when he committed to Alabama. But I love John Allen. But I think he just got so much hate. But the fact that he came back from that injury was crazy. And same thing with Duran. Logan said it. Did you see the X-ray of Payne's hand? Disgusting. Someone said it looked like a magic trick gone wrong. It was bad. I tweeted out. I was looking through the stories last night. I saw posted it on IG, so I tweeted it out. And it was bad. That's an ugly injury. But I'm really curious what they decide to do in the interior D-line. They'll be interesting. Because John Allen has another year after this one on contract. Doesn't really make sense to get rid of him. And we have a lot of cap space next year. I know I saw, who was a Spot Track was talking about money being carried over from this season to next season. We're carrying over $19,832,564 from this season into the offseason. That's adding to what we had already. We're gonna be a top 5 salary cap team. If not, we're gonna be very close. We're gonna have a lot of money in the offseason. And that's already counting that, Marshawn Lattimore is getting paid, 18 next year and then 18 and a half the year after that. So, he's good. You don't even have to touch his contract. You don't even have to touch it. Terry, we've seen a couple little things. I'm not saying I've heard anything, but I am pretty sure Terry's going to get his contract restructured this offseason. And if he doesn't, it's because he says, hey, don't worry about it. We'll cross that whenever it comes. But it would not surprise me if they add another year or two onto his contract and, pay him what he deserves. Do you have to? No, but it's more of an Adam Peters, Josh Harris kind of let's do right by him. And we have so much money. It's probably not going to happen immediately. It's probably not going to happen free agency. It's probably going to happen afterwards. But it just depends on what happens. If it's not going to be this season, it's going to be next season. But I know Albert Breer already said, don't be surprised if Terry gets another deal. If they restructure that contract. I love Johnson from Oregon, small shifty ass receiver for us, by the way. Yeah, Tez, I love Tez. He's a great dude. He's a hell of a dude. Very tiny, definitely gonna be a slot guy though. So we'll see what happens. The further we move down, the more I'm open to trading back. I think this corner class is suspect of the first 5 corners, and one of them are nickel. Yeah, Siobhan Revel's my dude. I'm gonna try to get Siobhan on here too in the offseason, interview him. He just followed me on Twitter. Same with Benjamin Morrison. 2 guys that got hurt, season-ending injuries. They were probably top 15 picks. If they have a full season of how good they were, especially Benjamin Morrison, being in the national championship now, it would have been. Psh. But Siobhan Revel is as Dan Quinn as a corner as it gets. I guarantee you, if he hasn't already, Dan Quinn's going to watch Siobhan Revel and be like, holy shit, bring me this guy right now. Bring me Revel right now. That is as Dan Quinn of a corner as if he could create one in a lab, Siobhan Revel would be what pops out. Corner ECU. Check him out. That is my guy. He had the best corner tape out of anybody, even Will Johnson. And I know that's saying a lot. I'm not the only one that thinks this. Even Will Johnson, who had a lot of injuries this year too. Who knows where he falls to. But Revel was that dude at corner. I'm telling y'all, he is going to be a star. Same thing we were talking about with Quinyon Mitchell in the offseason. Everyone's like, I don't know. I went to Toledo. The tape does not lie. I don't care if you played at a community college, Blue Mountain State. I don't care. That tape does not lie. Siobhan Revel is one of them dudes. One of them dudes. Sinnott should be an upgrade from Bates. I think Ben. It's not just because I'm a Ben guy. I'm a big Ben dude. Got my jersey on the wall. I think he really pops out next year. I think this year was a year of growth, of going from Kansas State being a Y out tight end to an inline tight end and an H-back tight or fullback kind of guys to just really having to focus on that tight end spot. That's what it really needs to do. But at the same time, we've seen Cliff put him in at fullback, put him in at H-back, put him in line, and he's had some opportunities in the blocking game, things you don't really pay attention to. But I think next season we're going to see a jump to more of that receiving threat like we saw in that big catch was against the Jets. Catch across the middle, the yards after the catch, the physicalness of him. It was a good route, good team route. I think we'll see more of that next season. But Ertz and it's crazy to me that people are like, oh, he couldn't even compete with Ertz. Ertz, like we already knew Ertz was going to be that safety blanket, that veteran guy. He was in Cliff's offense. Him and Jaden Daniels had this connection at training camp right away. I mean, I remember being at training camp every practice. It's like Zach Ertz across the middle. It was there all the time. We knew that a veteran tight end was going to be his safety blanket. And he has been a lot of the season. The reason they'll let go of Bates is because they're high on Yankoff. I think they are high on Yankoff too, but he's been hurt too pretty bad. Running back class looks deep this year. We definitely need to take some. This running back class is the best class I've ever looked at and scouted ever. In like the last 5-6 years, best running back class I can remember ever. This running back class is filthy. There's a guy you could probably get in the 3rd, 4th round. You're like, holy smokes, this is a running back 1 in the NFL. Like really good. Like a guy like I think Sampson could go in the 3rd. I'm really intrigued to see where guys like Trayvon Henderson or Quinshon Judkins can go. And like I said, you got Genty, Caleb from Iowa, Caleb Johnson, Amarian Hampton. I thought I said that. Genty, Hampton, Caleb, Quinshon, Travion, Sampson. I'm like missing a ton, I know. There's like 10 to 15 running backs that I would take. Both of my Penn State guys just went back this year. It's kind of been a rumor for a while now. There's so many running backs in this class. It's like, holy smokes. It is crazy. We generally do well against the Lions no matter what. We'll shock the world Saturday. I'm with you, man. I think we do it. As risky as loading the boxes, Jahmyr Gibbs is our first priority to stop on that offense. Absolutely. Like I said, it sounds like Montgomery's going to be back just in time for this game, of course, because that's what happens. Antoine Winfield was back for the first time since like December 3rd against us, even though he didn't do much. Tonight is not supposed to be a tight end 1. He is a 2. We got to draft a Kelsey type, and I can agree with that. Like I'm not against getting another tight end if Zach Ertz doesn't come back this year. We'll see what he decides to do. But once again, Tyler Warren, Harold Fandon, Alane Golson out of Syracuse. There's a lot of really good tight ends in this draft class. Loveland out of Michigan. Stovers from Vanderbilt went back. There's a couple others. Dude out of Miami, I forgot his name. Not the old one, but the other one. Not the guy that was there for Ferguson. One of them from Miami. He's like a 9th-year senior, which is crazy. Yeah, it's a really good tight end class. B-Rob has to show up so we can open up our playbook for JD. That's the thing. Like I'm telling you, I know it's been a while and it's been since like the beginning of December. We have not had a run game, but somehow Jaden Daniels just says, okay, I'm going to be the run game and I'm going to overcome all these, negative plays in the run game and just be that guy. I think the run game issues are much more on the O-line. Skill players not blocking well. B-Rob lacks vision. Showed all of our backs suffered behind that line. It's true. I'm not saying that Biotish and Allegretti and Cosme have been bad, but it seems like inconsistent in these blocking schemes. Plus, Tampa Bay has a great run D. They do, but it's just been so bad for like a whole month and a half. But just crazy because we were a top 3 rushing team the whole season until we got to like December. Pan and Allen deserve a ton of credit gutting through these injuries. If nothing else, I'd keep them. They've been here too long to not deserve success with the team. I'm with you. Terry needs to retire here. Absolutely. I'm all for restructuring the contract. Plus, moving on from Payne and or Allen just creates unnecessary holes in the roster. Just let them play out their deals. True. Unless you do get like some crazy kind of trade offer, then you're like, okay, maybe. Don't you extend now so that Terry is cheaper when the inevitable JD5 extension happens? Yeah, because if you think about it, the market's always going to reset. Cap space is always going to go up because it always has. But to me, it just comes down to like, is he willing to wait? Like, is it important to him, or does he want to really just load up this roster with people while we have the money? What's going on? Shop with Charles Josh. I finally returned to Austin from the game and got a few hours of sleep. The win was so worth the tiredness, pain, and the feeling. Hey, welcome back to Austin, man. What part of Austin you live in? I'm over here like West Oak Hill, like Southwest Austin. Definitely wish I went to that game, but glad you had fun. It was worth it. Everyone I've talked to today is like no sleep, exhausted, but definitely worth it. One thing for sure, AP don't give a damn. Underperform, you out of here. Bye-bye, St. Trout. Hey, Michael Davis, really shitty. Inactive last week. Inactive. They didn't care. They did not care. Dan Quinn shows his cards of like what he thinks about you. Forbes, Fidelia Mathis. I know there's another one I'm missing earlier in the season. We're like, oh shit, he's just inactive. When does Shamar Stewart go off the board? He's a beastie in. He's a Texas A&M guy. I think he's late first. We'll see. The thing is, remember this time last year, Jaden Daniels was like a top 20 pick. But then like 2-3 weeks before the draft, it's like Jaden's a top 5, and he's probably going to go to 2 to Washington. Things change so fast in the draft board. Just remember that. Players go all over the place. One throw can make you a Zach Wilson to where at a pro day, like, oh, this is a top 3 pick. Things happen fast. One running back I would like for us to draft is Caleb Johnson, Iowa. Yeah, he's a beast. Scatterboo, that's who I was thinking about. Yeah, Scatterboo in the 4th. I don't even know if he goes in the 4th. Scouts love him. GMs love him. He's probably going like the 3rd. Carson Beck to Miami. I knew he was going to go there just because Cavender goes there. His girl goes there. He's smart. You go to Miami. He made a ton of money, and he's with his girlfriend. And he's not stuck in Georgia anymore. He's living the life. My boy is in Miami with his girl, one of the Cavender twins. I think he dates Haley. I can't remember. And he got paid more money than not even just rookies, some veteran quarterbacks in the league right now. I think he made like $5 million. There's either $4 or $5 million to go to Miami. That's crazy for 1 year. And he gets to heal up. Judkins is a stud. I would love Judkins. So you agree with Rio that Washington's running back 1's playing college right now? Yes. 1,000,000%. And Tony Dungy said this last night. I don't know a lot of people caught this, but he said that Dan Quinn mentioned that he really wanted to draft Bucky Irving, which makes me happy because I loved Bucky. That was one of my guys on my Washington board this offseason. So it was Ben. I told Ben at the Senior Bowl, we're going to draft you. He's like, all right. We did. I was like, and then he DM'd me when we like literally 30 minutes after we drafted him. He's like, bro, you called it. I was like, I told you. I'm getting a good idea of what Dan Quinn and AP look for in their players. I'm so thankful for that draft video that came out, the Commander's Log, where they showed them in the draft board room. That gave me such a good idea of what they're looking for this offseason. I'm excited to break down some film. But he's like, Tony Dungy said that Dan Quinn wanted Bucky. I was like, okay, that's a good little nugget. So he's been looking for a running back. Charles, appreciate you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for sure. Josh Henderson from Ohio State is from the town, next town over from where I'm from, and he would be home run hit first man of God. And dude, let me tell you, he can run close to 4.3s fast. He's a really good dude. I love Travion. I forgot where he's from. I know he's from Virginia. I can't remember. But yeah, he's been on my board for a while. I remember when he first went to Ohio State. I was doing like recruiting stuff at the time. As a Buckeyes fan, I would love to get 1, maybe 2 guys in the draft. I'm saying Sawyer and then one of those running backs, or maybe like Donovan Jackson or Josh Simmons. I know he's been injured, but one of those offensive linemen, Ohio State's got some good ones. His high school tape was ridiculous. Check out Hopewell. Yep, Hopewell, Virginia, small town. I love Hopewell. I grew up in Fredericksburg, and then I went to Louisa County High School. I moved there for like middle school, but I was like Fredericksburg most of my life, and then Louisa. Louisa's been putting out some talent too. Shout out to my guy Savion Hyder, number 1 running back in the country for 2026. Shout out to Savion. He's a Washington fan too. Daryl Taylor is his cousin, I believe. The whole family is athletic as hell, man. Bunch of names you don't hear about. Dude, Virginia puts out some talent. Radar said, oh, what about Josh Simmons? So yeah, I just kind of mentioned him a little bit. Yeah, I would look. He's got really good tape. I was so mad that he got hurt. But then Donovan Jackson went from left guard to left tackle, puts out phenomenal tape. He's probably one of the best left guards in the draft this year. Any of those guys. Give me Josh Simmons or Jackson. My favorite players in this draft, Alik Aomanor, Mike Green, Tyler Warren. It's a hell of a list. I'm actually higher on Aomanor than a lot of people are. I think he's not getting talked about enough at all. Can we 49ers it and make Sonata fullback? I think so, but I said this I said this to him and he agreed with me. And then I've kind of said this in the draft process. I feel like, and what I said, I was like, you're an Adam Peters guy. And he was like, you think so? I was like, yeah. I was like, you remind me of like Kittle and Juszczyk put together. And he was like, I could see it. I don't disagree with that. So I don't want to make him a full-on fullback. I think his receiving threat is just too good. His blocking as an inline tight end is really good too, but I still think you can put him out there a Y. I think it's just going to take not a lot of tight ends. Ask Kyle Pitts this. Not a lot of tight ends break out year one. It usually takes a while. Not everyone is a Brock Bowers. Not everyone is a Sam Laporta. Jahdae Barron, love him. Would love him. What are you most excited for when you go to the Senior Bowl, Josh? I can't wait to see the trench battles. Honestly, my favorite, the one-on-ones are crazy. I like the interviews because you get to like actually get to know the players. I'm not gonna lie, that's something I've talked to in the past. I'm like, holy shit, I can't talk to this guy. Like, this is going terrible. Like, this guy is not good at interviewing. And I'm just like, and then you talk to some guys, they're just like the coolest. Like Ben was awesome to talk to. Malachi Corley was one of my favorite guys to talk to. Wide receiver, went to the Jets. Like I love talk. Cam Kinch's another one I love talking to. Like some of these guys are just really great to talk to. Liatu Latu, another guy, just super high energy. But practice wise, those one-on-one battles, whether it's DB and wide receivers or it's O-line and D-line, you're right up there. I usually try to get as close as I can to those drills. And you see like one-on-one. It's usually like, 3 linemen, 4 linemen, but they're going one-on-one with one of them. And it gets crazy. I just remember Kerrigan being there 2 years ago and like chatting with him and talking, like just hanging out with him for a little bit. And he was like, man, these dudes are hitting down here. It's like they're going all out for these drills are fun. It's just good to see them. But yeah, I cannot wait. 2 weeks from now, I'll be there. I'm leaving 2 Mondays from now. That's crazy. It's flying by, man. It's flying by. I think Yankoff fits the fullback mold much better. Snot feels like a true tight end who can play H-back kind of like Cooley. I see that. I'm cool with the Cooley vibes. I like that. Like I said, I think it just takes more than 1 year. This upcoming season, we'll have some heavy hitters, players that want to come here, and we have some massive cap space, house money. How you feel about Buckeye legend Jack Sawyer? I like Jack. Like I think he turned it up in the postseason. I mean, his playoffs have been crazy. The thing I like the most about him, his run stop rate is super high. He might not have like the sexiest pass rushing moves and stuff like that, but he gets to the quarterback regardless. And I love that he stops the run on the way to the quarterback. I said something we're not doing well this season. This will be the first draft in a long time we won't be paying attention primarily to the quarterbacks. I know everyone's talking about like the quarterbacks going to be at the Senior Bowl. And I care. I'm going to watch him. I love Jackson Dart. I think he's going to be the quarterback too, honestly. Maybe not drafted, but like 3-4 years from now, I think Jackson Dart has a better chance of being quarterback too than other people like Shadur. But I'm just like, okay, like Will Howard's going to be there. Leonard's going to be there. I think Dylan Gabriel, I'm pretty sure, is going to be there too. Like, there's some big names at quarterback at the Senior Bowl. I'm like, gosh, this is the first time where I don't care. I'm not going to be like asking them all these questions like everybody else is. There are so many teams I need a quarterback. I'm going to be talking to my top wide receivers. I'm going to be talking to my edge rushers, some corners out there. I'm looking for the next guys for Washington. That whole week I'm there. That's all I care about. I don't have to worry about a quarterback this time. Dallas is crashing out and other teams so grateful. Hellish days are over. Thank God, man. Henderson has donated several things back to the community for kids sports around the area. Staff will get to know him for scouting. I mean, and that sounds like the kind of guy they love, like a local kid that gives back to the community. Like that's exactly what he sounds like. I've seen nothing but great things on him. DJ Giddens, I like him too, out of Kansas State. Mike Green killed my Buckeyes like Khalil Mack did. I'm telling y'all, Mike Green is crazy. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, Marshall, Nah, Mike Green can play anywhere in the country." I'm seeing some draft guys saying there's only 20 guys in first-round grades. I don't even think it's that many. Does that mean we need to move up and get into the top 20 or move down and get as many second and thirds as we can? I think there's a very higher chance we trade down than trade up. Unless you're trading up, it's like the top 10 and that means somebody fell. But I think early on, I said this, I think there's like 8 or 9 guys I would have a first round grade on. I think there's 3 or 4 that have a chance of being elite. Travis, like if I had to say elite prospects, Travis is one for me. Ashton Genty, Tyler Warren for me. I'm higher on Tyler Warren than anybody in the country. I think McMillan and Luther Burton have a chance to be elite, but I'm not willing to put them out there. I think Abdul Carter. Is another guy who I think is an elite prospect, but I'm not willing to say, oh, McMillan has a chance of being an elite wide receiver. I mean, there's a chance, but it's not like a Jeremiah Smith or Jamar Chase when he came out, or like Justin Jefferson when he came out, or anything like that. I don't know. I like McMillan a lot, but this wide receiver class is extremely underwhelming. Like you might get lucky with a guy in the second or third. You never know. There could be like a Puka Nacua in here. There's going to be good guys. It's all about who you get and where they fit. But I'm not that excited about this draft class at all. When it comes to wide receivers, I'm all in with taking care of that need in free agency. I'm still good with drafting a guy in the middle rounds. I think we still need. Like I said, I think we have like 3 or 4 wide receivers that are free agents. We have a lot. A better DB growing up than a running back. Talking about Travion, which is crazy. But yeah, he's quick. He is so fast. That one screenplay, I was like, holy smokes. But yeah, hell of a guy. Does a lot for the youth. Still keeps up with his coaches growing up, which I expect a lot. Luther Burden the third. Judkins get young weapons. I mean, I think Burden's the top 10 guy. I think so. Josh, by the way, what do you think? What do you know about Shamari Earls? I'm not sure about him. Where does he go? I think I've heard the name before. My brother-in-law coaches him in high school. Incredible talent. Looks up to him going to Michigan. But I've heard that name before. Chris Tyree grew up 2 houses down from me. Love to get him later in the draft. I know Chris Tyree. If you draft either Judkins or Henderson, the most underrated part of the game is the pass protection. Yeah, like I guess I would. You just have to even the fact that Judkins went to Ohio State. Like, you remember what he did at Ole Miss? This dude was running through the entire SEC. He had 1,500 yards, like crazy. Appreciate it, Logan. Love your passion for the game. You know your stuff. I am a junkie when it comes to this, so I appreciate it. It means a lot. Need to draft a kicker, and believe it or not, it's a really good kicker selection. Fitzgerald out of Florida State, Michigan's dude. I forgot his name. There's actually a lot of good kickers in this class coming up. I'm not saying draft one. You might be able to sign one, but Ollie Gordon, he's going to be at the Senior Bowl. I like him too. Had a bad season. Not bad, but just a down season considering this guy was up there with Ashton Genty last year. Ollie Gordon was ridiculous last year. Him and Damian Martinez are 2 guys. I think their draft stock went way down, but I'm still super high on the talent. So Ollie Gordon, Damian Martinez, 2 running backs, I think hurt their draft stock, which is good for a team like us who might want to get him the 3rd or 4th rounds. I think Ollie Gordon's going to show up at the Senior Bowl and remind people who he is. Commanders versus Vikings, NFC Championship game. I'm going to call it here. I'm with it. I would love that matchup. Vikings defense is kind of like the Bucks, doing a lot of blitzes and stuff like that. And look what happened. Is this a good O-line and D-line draft? Not a good O-line draft. There's a couple tackles I like, but not a lot. Interior O-lines is a really bad draft. Really bad. And once again, someone could be way better than you think. But just looking at prospect-wise, offensive tackles, it took a hit. Who was it? The dude from LSU, their right tackle. Not Campbell, but the other guy. He was a projected top 10 pick. Now he's projected late 2nd, early 3rd. Gosh, I can't remember his name. Emery. It's gonna hit me as soon as I get off here. But yeah, it's not the best. And I mean, there's a couple. There's 3 or 4 really good guys that could be day 1 starters. Like I said, Donovan Jackson, Josh Simmons, both at Ohio State. I think super good day 1 starters. Will from LSU, maybe. Kelvin Banks, I think so. But outside of them, this isn't the best draft class for offensive line at all. I would much prefer to go get a solid veteran like a Trey Smith. There's some big names out there in free agency this year for tackles and interior guys. Give me Trey Smack from Florida. I like his name, but he looks legit. Hey, Smack is one hell of a name. I would love Chris Godwin to against his offseason wide receiver trio would feed families and Diami, OZ, and Luke to round out the room. That would be amazing. I think you can get Chris Godwin to come off a bad injury cheap. He would be the starter in the slot and T. Higgins on the outside. Holy smokes. I'm fine with just investing every dollar we have at the wide receiver position and just let Jaden just carve teams up across the middle of the field. All over the field, honestly. But yeah, Chris Godwin, T. Higgins, and Terry McLaurin would be nasty. What do you think about Kyron Lacey's incident? Yeah, it's done. That's a wrap. That dude's so stupid. That happened at middle of December, too. And then he declared for the NFL 3 days after that happened. How stupid are you? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. It's not even just Georgia. It's LSU too, apparently. But Kyron Lacey, that was the stupidest thing ever, man. Terrible. I'm 20-ish minutes south of Richmond. Tyler Warren he went to Alley. He did everything at Alley. Penn State loves recruiting the state of Virginia. But he played baseball. He was basketball. He was dunking on dudes. Yeah, I love Tyler Warren's tape coming out. I did recruiting for Penn State for like 2 years. Not recruiting for the university, but just covering their recruiting for rivals. And Penn State loves them Virginia boys. They got a ton of them this year too. They just keep coming back. They got to do it at my high school, Braden Smith. But yeah, they recruit the hell out of the state. Virginia boys are up. De'Ami Brown has a chance to do the funniest thing ever versus Lions. If he can outperform Amon-Ra St. Brown after all that shit he talked about, I can name the 14 wide receivers that were taken before me or whatever. And he was like talking about De'Ami Brown. Now, obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown is like a tier 1 wide receiver. De'Ami Brown's like fucking tier 6, 7. But still, if De'Ami Brown goes there and we win that game and he outplays Amon-Ra St. Brown by the grace of God, yeah, I will never shut up about that. The Jets corner would complete our defense. Talking about DJ Reed. I would love DJ Reed. He would probably be a slot guy, though. I just know they really, really, really want to move Sanderson back into the slot where they drafted him to be. He's been playing really well on the outside, but they've made it very known in-house that they want to move him back inside and get some outside help. And that was a big reason why they got Marshawn. You still need another corner, though. I would re-sign Noah Igbenogany. I think he's been solid. He's still super young. He's like 25 next season, which is crazy. And you got to get another outside wide receiver. That's why another outside corner, which is why I'm fine taking like a Benjamin Morrison or a Javon Revel in the first round. Or like even taking a guy like a second or third, whatever, but they really want Sanderson back in the slot. Like that is very known. It's like I said, it's not that he's playing bad on the outside. He's been playing phenomenal on the outside. I mean, he's been locking it down no matter where you put him. But if you can just imagine Marshawn back to his form on the outside, a legit number 2 corner on the outside, and Sanderson in the slot. Holy shit. That is a corner room. That's the dream. That's what they want. That's what DQ wants. And that's what Witt wants. What is Josh's strategy for free agency? Spend that money. That's my strategy. Like I said, we're going to have guys that want to come here. And that's a glorious thing. That is a glorious thing. I hope that we are smart and strategically aggressive, because there's going to be some big names that are going to be available for trade, whether it's Myles Garrett, whether it's Garrett Wilson, Max Crosby, who knows? Like, anything's possible. I want to get one of those big. I think that's like that's one thing that's missing so bad. Imagine a Garrett Wilson. Imagine a Crosby. Imagine a Myles Garrett. Holy shit. Or a T. Higgins. Just imagine that, y'all. That is a Madden move. Like that. I'm telling y'all, this is going to be in a good-ass offseason. I can't stop smiling when I talk about it. It's going to be good. It's going to be the biggest offseason ever that I've covered this team. Jay Reyes said, I think DJ Reed and Mikey too similar. I agree with you there. I'm not mad at it. I love DJ Reed. DJ Reed's one of my favorite corners in the league, honestly. I love DJ Reed. But I do think they're too similar unless they decide to just leave Mikey outside. But I'm telling y'all, it has been very known that the in-house that they want Mikey to go to the slot full-time because he can thrive there. He will be an interception machine across the middle of the field. Whoo, you think Mikey's good now? Wait till he can sit back in that slot where he belongs. Holy smokes. It's going to be good. But yeah, I think him and Reed are very similar. What game record edge rusher do you think we would go after? Because we need one who can close games. I mean, yeah, like I said, Garrett. I saw something earlier said like DeMarcus Lawrence, obviously with McCarthy out, could be a guy. But like I'm saying, Micah. I think Jerry Jones would have a stroke if Micah was traded. He's not a free agent, so you'd have to trade for Micah. Like I said, Micah, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby. That's like top tier one. If that doesn't happen, then you move on to like plan B. But there's definitely going to be some big names out there this season that aren't usually available. There's going to be a lot of teams going through these rebuilds that aren't usually available. So you have to strike while the opportunity's there. Top 3 signings, Higgins. I haven't gone through my full free agent class yet, but Higgins is definitely one. I'm trying to think position-wise, too. I mean, probably be an edge rusher and then an offensive lineman or a corner. Tre'Davious Ward. Give me Ward out of 49ers. He's super high on my list. I put him at 2. Give me Ward. If you want that other outside corner, you're not going to draft one, go get Char Ward from the 49ers. Like he said, he doesn't want to be in California anymore. Like, God, I mean, praying for the dude, all the crazy shit he went through. And terrible situation out there. But he says, like, dude, like the media was talking to him. He's like, I got PTSD in California. My wife already left. We can't live in California anymore. So AP, I would love for him to be like, hey, man, come here. You know me. You know who I am. Like, you have a familiar face here. This is a winning team. Dan Quinn, like I said, Coach Witt. Dude, can you imagine Ward and Lattimore on the outside and then Samer still in the slot? Holy smokes. Give me Ward or give me death. Just kidding. Don't kill me, but give me Ward, please. I would love that. But he is a free agent. I'm trying to think who else is free agents off the top of my head. Is it Devontae Adams a free agent? Fuck it. I mean, go get Devontae Adams. Aaron Rodgers is not staying on the Jets. Go get Adams. I don't care. I want to see Hogs 2.0 back in a couple of years. I would love that. Looks like a lot of purple in Arizona. Yeah, I just pulled up the game. I'm about to hop off here and watch this game. I Black Moss says we need to trade for Myles Garrett and Garrett Wilson. I would literally give up all of our picks almost for those. If we got Mad Max, I would pass out. Joel Mitty's a game wrecker. Max Crosby. First off, he's like, this is gonna sound really, pause. But if I could, like, I want to be tatted up like Max. I mean, maybe not the neck tat. But like Max Crosby's like my kind of dude. Like Max Crosby just doesn't give a fuck. He's just one of the most badass players in the league. I love Max Crosby. I follow him on everything. If I had to pick one favorite player outside of Washington, it is Max Crosby. And it's not even close. I would get a Max Crosby jersey the second that happens. I have like the biggest man crush on Max Crosby. That sounds terrible. But hey, I'll put it out there. Max is my dude, man. I've watched so much. I had to do for scouting for SIS. I did 3 Raiders games. God, it was so hard to watch the offense. Minus Brock Bowers. He's sensational. But watching the defense, I'm just like, oh my God, Max Crosby is sensational, man. Max Crosby, I could watch him play football all day. Like I said, it sounds very bad. The last 30 to 45 seconds of me talking sounds very bad. No Diddy. But I love Max Crosby. Stephon Diggs, we'll have to see. Worth kicking the tires on. Maryland kid. Offseason pickup will make your draft board easier, no doubt, for sure. Which free agent wide receiver do you think is the most realistic for us to sign? I'd say definitely T. Higgins. All the other ones really didn't do anything for me. Let me look at this real quick. Trying to remember who the other ones are. For the wide receivers, and I'm going to hop off here and watch this game. But wide receivers, let's see. Shout out to Spot Track. I'm going to be using this a lot. So Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins. So Stephon, going to be 32 almost. Big injury, question mark. T. Higgins, yes. Keenan Allen, no. Amari Cooper on like a 1 or 2 year deal, yes. Chris Godwin, 1 or 2 year deal, yes. Brandon Cooks, not really. Like, once again, there's not a lot of wide receivers that really float my boat, like Mike Williams, D Hop, Deontay Johnson, no. Robert Woods, like yeah. It's just not the sexiest wide receiver free agents. Like, for me, it's like T. Higgins, Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, maybe Stephon Diggs. I'm pretty sure. Spot Track does not want to work for me for some reason right now. But yeah, it's not a lot. But we'll get into that when the season ends. It's gonna be a good offseason, y'all. So make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all like the video. And turn those notifications on. Darius Slayton, he's only 28. Not bad. Maybe like a little solid little wide receiver 3, 4. It'd be an improvement. Like I said, we got a lot of free agents though. We have a ton of free agents coming up. There's gonna be some contracts. There's gonna be some signings. We're gonna lose some dudes. I think guys like Fowler could go get a paycheck. I think you want to keep guys like Chin. Eckler's still here. Ertz was a 1 year deal. Bobby, try to convince him to come back one more season while he's at Howard at least. Like, hey man, come play some ball while you're still in college. Vikings gonna get rolled up and smoked. I think so. I don't know about smoked, but I think Rams been smoked. Oh, yep, they just scored 7-0. Gosh, it does not want to show me what happened. So, I love Quan, but yeah, Javon Holland from Miami would be sick. Max Crosby never gets tired, 100 miles per hour. Hollywood on a 1 year deal. Fuck it. Might as well. I mean, look, once again, Cliff knows them. Doesn't hurt. But yeah, I'm going to hop off here, y'all. Watch this game. 7-0 Rams right now. But we're not worried about it too much because we know who we have to play. We got to go to the Lions on Saturday. But like I said, guys, hit that subscribe button. Me and Rio are going to do our live stream very likely same time as usual. We're not going to change it. Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Let me get with him tomorrow just to make sure. But I usually put up the video like a day or two in advance. Make sure y'all are subscribed. W stream. I'll talk all the time. Appreciate you. See you up in here all the time. Appreciate it. Make sure y'all come in on Thursday. Me and Rio have a good time. We act up. We talk about some good stuff too. All things. Not even just the game. Like if anything happens with the team, we always talk about everything. So we usually go like an hour or so as well. So appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.